Women in the Western world spent much of 2018 focused on the Me Too movement. Yet a policy expert tells us a far worse kind of sexual abuse is happening in Egypt. In an article for the Jerusalem Post, Lela Gilbert writes, quote, "Christian women in Egypt face kidnapping, rape, beatings, and torture. Innumerable girls and women vanish forever. And even if they are somehow rescued, their stories are thought to be so shameful that they're hidden as dark family secrets." And joining me now is that author, Lela Gilbert, adjunct fellow at the Hudson Institute Center for Religious Freedom. Lela, thank you for coming in to talk about this important topic.
Thank you very much for having me.
You call this Egypt's silent epidemic, one that has been going on for years. Why do you think the kidnapping and the rapes of Egyptian Christian women are not receiving more attention?
It's true in almost every country where Christians are being persecuted that this country doesn't pay much attention. Part of it's media exposure, which is why I'm very happy to talk to you, but also because people are very preoccupied, and with such things as Me Too, when they really don't know how bad it is elsewhere.
How do the fear and the shame felt by the victims and their families add to the silence on this issue?
Well, it's very much a problem, especially in minorities like Christians. We know now from the Nobel Prize that a woman was courageous enough to speak up about the rape and the abuse, sexual abuse, but it's not talked about.
What do you mean from the Nobel Prize?
The woman that won the Nobel Prize this year was a rape victim of ISIS and had been imprisoned for years by them and gang raped. She went public with what happened to her.
Egyptian President Abdel Fattah elSissi was elected in May 2014 and endorsed by religious leaders, including the Coptic Patriarch. Is President elSissi considered a Christian ally? If so, why is this happening?
I think he has done more than any Egyptian president has ever done to try to befriend the Coptic community, which is 10% of his population. I think he has a sincere desire to reform Islam in Egypt. However, in the villages, in the little towns and the far-reaching areas, the mayor is a radical, the police chief is a radical. Some of them are complicit in plotting against these women. It's not just a matter of overlooking it.
Plotting?
Plotting, yes.
So I was going to ask, my next question was going to be, oh, well, what's being done? But if they're plotting, it doesn't sound like a lot's being done.
Well, he has done a lot to support the Coptic community in terms of publicity and going to the Christian services on Easter and Christmas. He's done a lot, but I don't think anyone has control over every inch of his territory. And mob rule is really what's causing a lot of this.
We should remind our audience that in Egypt, a person's religion is stated on their identity card, and in fact that there's a bill calling for that to be eliminated, but it failed in committee last month. What is the impact of that? It's
always a problem when you are a minority in an Islamic, let's just be truthful, an Islamic country or community. You're always going to be discriminated against as far as education is concerned. There's always something you can't have, and there are things that happen to you and you can't be helped because nobody comes to your aid. And I don't want to give to say that the president is doing everything in his power. I don't know that he is, but I think he's done more than a lot. It's just very bad there.
Thank you so much for coming in, Lela Gilbert, to talk to us about an issue, you're right, we don't hear very much about.
That's right.